Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of the social media accounts. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, looking at the put to call ratio for the week, well, actually for tomorrow, it's not really high. It's at 0.52. I mean, not high, not really low. It's kind of like on the lower side, but nothing too extreme to pay attention to. Now, as far as the economic calendar for the week, let's see, Monday, nothing. Tuesday, we have consumer confidence at 10 o'clock. Wednesday, we have FOMC, and we have Powell speaking at 2:30, which should be interesting. I think that Powell is going to end up cutting rates. The reason I think that is because he's probably afraid of his job and probably afraid of what Trump's going to do. And Trump has been going crazy with the executive orders and being very harsh on his and sticking to his guns. So Powell may be a little scared, and Powell may cut rates just to keep Trump happy. So I think that's what's going to happen. Who knows if that's what will happen. So yeah, FOMC is going to be very interesting because everything that the market's going to hinge on every word Powell says, and Powell's stance is probably going to end up changing because of his fear for Trump. So I'm just speculating at this point, but that's what I think. As far as Thursday, unemployment claims at 8:30, and Friday we got core PCE price index at 8:30. Nothing in Chicago PMI at 9:45. So really nothing. The big day is going to be Wednesday, FOMC day. So definitely keep an eye on that. I know I have Meta up, but I'm going to jump to VIX because if we end up grinding down, or not grinding down, but if we ended up SPY ends up just chopping and gapping and grinding like it's been doing, or it'll gap up like a few dollars and just stay within $1-2 range, or if it doesn't even gap up, if we just range and don't really drop, we could see VIX drop down to 12 or so on by Wednesday. So if VIX is at 12 on Wednesday, I'm expecting the market to dump on FOMC. So where VIX is at Wednesday morning will determine which way I think VIX is going to go, and the FOMC is going to head. So right now, if VIX is getting pushed down, we are at 12 or under 12 on Wednesday, I think that we're going to dump on FOMC. Now, if we pop Monday and Tuesday, we probably end up probably bouncing Wednesday. So usually that's what end up happens at FOMC. Monday and Tuesday, whatever Monday and Tuesday do, we usually see the opposite on Wednesday. So that will be important to keep an eye on. And VIX can get down to 12 and under by Wednesday very, very easily, even on a small range market. So so we'll go back to SPY. Now SPY SPY made new all-time high on Friday. RSI was really high, but you can't really go by RSI because back when Trump was previously president, like in 2016, SPY RSI was high and it grinded up and up and up. So as SPY grinds up, I mean, look right here, RSI is so high right here, and it just dropped a little bit, but it could still keep going. So we had that little drop right here, and the RSI has cooled down quite a bit on the weekly just from this drop. So, but we are, having a major bearish divergence. You can see the histogram right here is printing lower highs as prices going up, but bearish divergences or divergences in general can last weeks, months. We've seen it with Baidu and Roku in the past. They can last for a very, very long time. So SPY has a lot of gaps to fill. We get this gap under 605. We get this gap under 595. We get this gap right here under 590. At some point, these gaps are going to fill. So we'll have to see if that happens. We can. So I would watch SPY in both directions. I would watch it over 608 for a push to all-time high. And if we get to all-time high, probably going to push to 615 or 620. And if we end up getting below 605, 606, probably try for a gap fill right here below 605 down to 600. So SPY in kind of a awkward position, but you know, it could range right in the 605, 610 range for the next 2 or 3 days until FOMC. So don't expect it to rip or drop. I mean, we could literally range within 606 to 610 like we have in the last couple days. I mean, we're already done that right here. So we range. So we could end up doing kind of this kind of scenario until FOMC. So that's not unheard of. Did the same thing right over here. So that's what I'm thinking right now. We'll have to see. We're going to take it one day at a time. Now, Microsoft, I'm looking at, you know, it's butting headed with the 450 area. Well, not 450, but 445, 446 area. If it doesn't get, I'm not looking at a bounce. I mean, technically, if it gets over 446, we could probably get a push to 450, but I'd be more watching it under 441 for a push down to 436 and fill that gap down to 430. So I'd only watch Microsoft on the drop, and plus the RCT trend line on the weekly, it's rejecting that. So we could end up seeing pull back on Microsoft. Apple, remember, we got earnings coming up in the next couple of weeks, so Apple's had a pretty significant drop. I mean, from 260 down to 220. I mean, I would watch Apple for a probably a pre-earnings run-up. I would watch it over 225, 230, 235, 240, 245. It's definitely in a good area where it likes to bounce this 220 area, so watch for a bigger reversal on Apple. So definitely keep an eye on Apple, assuming that Apple in the market is chopping or strong. Netflix, huge gap up from earnings, faded, bounced up, and it tried to bounce a little bit. So I'd watch for a fade on this. I mean, I don't know. Part of me is just telling me just to watch the fade. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's going to get over 1,000. I mean, it could definitely, but I'm only interested in the short side on the 971. Push down here to 950. It gets below 950. We could see a gap fill right here. I don't think it's going to drop. It's going to drop 100 points to fill that gap in one shot. That's a pretty significant drop, but that was a pretty significant gap up too. So Netflix only interested in the fade. NVIDIA, you know, it's rejecting this 150 area like numerous times. So we're back up here again. So I would watch. I did fill the gap from Thursday, I think. Wait, was Thursday? No, maybe it was Monday. Yeah. Tuesday. No, Wednesday. I don't know. Whatever day this is right here. I filled that gap from over here. So maybe we start to see a bounce. So I would watch it over Friday. So I have over 143. Push to 145 to 148, 150. And if we get over the 150 and get to all-time high again, we're probably going to push to 155, 160. So NVIDIA, look for a bounce on that. Meta, let's see, Meta, I don't know. I just think it's so overbought. I don't like it up here. I mean, I would watch it. I mean, you get a head and shoulders right here. You get a left, the head and small right shoulder, very, very small for 1 hour candles. I mean, usually more defined, but I would watch. I mean, I don't think I'd play Meta over 650. I mean, that seems pretty high, but it just keeps going and going and going. I remember when I had Meta down here in the 90s, and I think I sold it in like 250, 300. I don't remember. I sold it way early, and I could have doubled, tripled my money right there. But anyways, I'm not going to look back at that because that makes me sad. But yeah, I'd watch for shorts underneath, shorting it underneath 645, which is 640, and it gets under 640, 635, 630, 620, 610, and 600. We had a gap to fill down here, so have to watch Meta and Tesla. Tesla's the last one. Tesla, it's the weekly looks pretty horrendous. I mean, well, not really horrendous, but this massive run up. They had the tail candle pull back, and it started to bounce, and it just didn't quite to get 450. It rejected that 440 area. So, yeah, 440, almost 440. So it is making a lower high, but it's also making a higher low right here. So I would watch it over 433. And if it gets over 433, I mean, it's at 406. So we'll round it up. If it gets over 415, that's where I'd watch it, over 415 to 420 to 430. And it gets over the 435 area, watch for a push to 450 on Tesla. So that's what I'll be watching for. I didn't trade SPY that much last week or the week before. I've been focusing more on Meta, Netflix, and Tesla. SPY has just been a complete nightmare. I mean, it just has not gone anywhere. And when it does go anywhere, the real moves have been pre-market, and I don't like that. So I have not liked the way SPY has been, and SPY has been very trappy and very confusing to trade. So I've been watching and playing Tesla and Meta and Netflix a little more, which we'll probably end up doing possibly the same thing this week, but we'll see how pre-market looks on SPY and stuff like that, because if we get massive gap ups, I'm just not interested. So that said, that's going to do it for the watch list, and thanks for watching.